Okay, good morning, everybody. Love to see some familiar faces here. I've invited Saniya to join us because I love the way she sells, and there's so many really expensive courses out there that don't teach people anything. I mean, people come to me a lot and go, I met one guy who spent £23,000 on courses that teach you how to build your business and bring in loads of clients, and he just had got nowhere with any of it. And that was his redundancy money. So that was all the money he had in the world. And I know how Saniya operates. I know how she sells. And I think it fits very well with therapists, because therapists are a little bit uncomfortable with the word sales. No, and I can understand why. I mean, we don't want to be hard salespeople. We want to be genuine. Otherwise, people are going to feel it. So, Saniya, lovely to see you.
Good morning, Anne, and everyone.
And yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I started selling when I was actually 18. I've always been in sales. I have a science background, trained as a teacher, but I realized that, my true passion was to sell. And I've been selling for 25 years. I've worked in various areas of business. And I just felt it was time to put those skills together and everything that I've learned over the last 25 years and show everybody else and other people who are in sales in different areas of life how to sell with simple techniques.
Yeah, because I've noticed that you've sold in lots of different environments, and I was in sales many years ago, and they said if you're good in sales, you can basically sell anything from a car to a box of cereal, and I think that's true. But I would add to that, if you believe it, I think I think deep down, if you believe what you're selling is really good and right for the person, then the whole job's a lot easier, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah. For me, the way I sell and how it's different for me is very simple, that I believe in building rapport with a customer. I've always had a passion to help people, and it's really important to listen. So my approach is always talk to the client, understand what their needs are, listen. It helps you to build a connection. The customer feels valued, feels confident, and hopefully you can then move into the sale, into the next phase, and understand what it is that they're looking for and what you can provide as a solution in a very genuine but honest way. So it's not a hard sell. It's basically you understanding their needs, listening to them, giving them the opportunity to interact with you, and you're building that connection, you're building that rapport. And once you do that, you'll find that the customer is more than likely to open up to you and feel as though that they can trust you, because sales is not just a simple case of I'm going to sell you something and you're going to buy it and goodbye and we'll never see you again. It's really about understanding your client, because if you understand them, then they're more than likely to refer you to somebody else and come back to you for repeat business. And that's what good selling is about. It's about understanding, listening, being able to build that connection with a customer, because when you're feeling comfortable and easy, your client and your customer is more than likely to feel the same as well. So that's how I approach it, because I think you have to have a passion to help people. If you have a passion to help, you're more than likely to build that connection and hopefully close that sale.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And I think this is why the sales courses are not working. And, I just don't want to see therapists go spend thousands of pounds and then be really disappointed, because it's horrible when you've followed all the things they've said. I remember, I think it's one of you guys might have been, you went on, I know one of you went on a course and they were saying, I'm going to brand you and this is your brand. And I think it was one of you who said, yeah, but that's not really what I want to be doing, and that's not really me. No, we know better than you. It wasn't congruent, and none of it felt right. And it's got to be fit with what you're offering and what you believe, and with the client, it's all got to match up. And I know There were several of these sales. I'll tell you what was funny about it. It was a seat to teach you how to get bums on seats. And they were teaching you this, but they didn't actually get many bums on seats for their bums on seats convention. And I said, that should tell you everything, that they're not good at what they're teaching because they didn't get the numbers that they needed. You know, look at what they're doing. Most of them are making money from telling you what to do as opposed to actually doing it. You know, it's a shame to see so many people spending money that they can't really afford, thinking this will build my business, this is the magic answer. I've seen you work up against other people, and that interested me. So you'd be selling a particular thing and other people are there selling a particular thing. What was different between, you noticed, between the way you sold and other people around you were selling?
Well, for me, it's really important to come across as honest, because honesty will, you know, almost take down any barrier. And I always approach a potential client in a very friendly and comfortable way, which puts them at ease. And I will start the conversation by explaining my product and then asking them what they're looking for. Because once I start that communication and take the time to listen and understand what is it, why are they here, what do they want from me? Once I've built that picture, then I know what I can offer them, and I will offer them a bespoke option, a bespoke solution that will work for them. And people, that's what people want. Nobody wants an all-fit purpose for, you know, an all-fit solution, because what fits one person may not fit another person. So it's about understanding, why has the client come to you? What is it that they need? And what can you offer them that works for them? And once they understand that, and they understand that you've actually taken the time to listen and come up with a solution that will really help them and overcome their current obstacles, then you have obviously you have the sale, and it's a win-win for you and for them. And I think that's where it's different, because if you actually take the time to listen to them and their needs, you know, they feel valued and then think, well, this person is clearly here to help me identify my needs, but also has my best interest at heart. And you're approaching that sale in a very honest and authentic way, in the same way you would want someone to approach you. And that's how I teach sales. I teach them in the same way that if I was to walk into anywhere, or a supermarket or a big store, how would I want to be approached? And how would I want the sales assistant to help me? And I take all of those points into consideration and use those and build up my sales training packaging based on that.
I love that. And you know, it's one of the things that the formulas teach. They talk about the funnel, and so it's just like a series of emails. And one of them said, let me do your funnel. I want to show you what I can do. So I went, okay. And the funnel was basically, hello, friend. It was like it was written by a robot. I have something that might interest you, my friend. And it was just so badly done because it was written to a formula. And one thing people have always said is, when you send an email out, I can hear you saying it. And I think that's what you're getting at. It has to really be to that person, how they operate, how they come across. There's word patterns, and people know if it's not your word patterns. So when you sell from the heart, people can feel that, can't they? They can actually feel.
They can.
You know, when you're in front of a good seller, you know you've got their attention, and you use the word listen, and it is, you know, they're listening, as opposed to somebody talking at you. We've all been around salespeople that are talking at you, and it is about that listening. I love that. I know a couple of girls recently were talking about the marvelous sales training they're on, both on different ones. And one of them was, every day you put £1 in a Facebook ad. Every day you do that. And I know somebody that spends £500 a month on Facebook ads to get one client. So I don't think £1 a day is gonna, but she spent thousands on this course. And the other one had one where it's an old insurance company where everybody you meet, you ask them for 2 names, and you call up them 2 names. And for therapists, that is just uncomfortable. You know, how would you feel if a therapist called you up and started giving you a sales spiel? I mean, it's not going to, we know it's not going to work. And these people, I felt bad because they were so excited about what they were learning. I'm going, yeah, you're not going to be saying that in a few months' time, are you? What you're saying is it's got to be genuine, and it starts with listening and really taking in your client and their needs. That is basically what you're saying. So how do you feel about a lot of therapists are very uncomfortable with the word sell? They're quite squeamish about selling, and what I notice is they kind of scurry off and run away and avoid it. So what would you say to therapists when they're uncomfortable?
Well, I would say definitely don't be afraid, because there's no reason for you to be afraid. If you have a potential sale, they've probably come to you because they need your advice, they need your help. Relax, enjoy the conversation. If it's not a Zoom call and you're on the phone, talk to them, smile while you're talking, because when you smile and you speak, that translates in your voice. So remember that, you know, if you've understood your product and you know what you're selling, all you're doing is relaying that information in a very honest, easy and comfortable way. And once you've relayed that information, then ask them, do they have any questions? Allow them to interact with you, allow them to tell you what their problems are. And if you're doing that in a really comfortable, confident way, because your confidence comes from within, and if you've understood your product and you know that you have something good to offer in a really genuine and authentic, honest way, and it's not a hard sale, your client will pick up on that. They will feel that vibe coming through your conversation, that actually you have something that's really good. You know what you're talking about. You've probably prepared 2 objection questions, because when you're having a sales conversation, it's really important for you to have, before you start the conversation, 1, understand your product, and 2, think, well, what objection question might this customer ask me, and have those answers to hand, because then it shows that you understand your own product and you understand perhaps any objections that they may have in mind, and you can handle those with confidence and ease. And it all comes down to just being confident in knowing who you are, because you've got a great product. And if you believe you have a great product, then your client will too. And just having that in the back of your mind, that actually this is a really good product, I'd like to share this with you, and just get that interaction going, because it's all, you know, if you're a people's person and you're honest, that will come through. And it's then about understanding, well, what can I give them? They may not want to buy the £500 package. They may only walk away with something that is only £50. But remember, if you've built that connection, you've built that rapport, and they like you because they feel safe and they feel valued, they're more than likely to come back. You may not get a big sale in the first time, but they're more than likely to refer you and come back again. And I think that's really important. People always want to go in for the big sale. I've never worried about the big sale. In all my years, in 25 years, I've always cared about, well, why is this customer here? Why are they talking to me? What can I offer them that will really work for them in their budget today? And I always think about, well, what their budget, what is their budget? How can I help? And whatever I'm offering, is it really value for money? Is it really what they need? And will they ever come back? And will they refer me? And if I take all of those things into consideration, usually I will make sure they go away with something that's sufficient. It might only be the starting point, but it's one valued customer that will probably go away and talk about me, because it's one valued sale I've closed. It might be only small, but I don't work on sales as in, I'm never, when I'm talking to a customer, it's never about the money. It's never about how much can I sell them. It's always about how can I help them. And you can only help someone if you know what you're selling, you understand your own product, and you've taken the time to listen to them and built that connection. It's almost like you're getting to know someone for the first time because you want them to be your friend. It's the same concept. You've taken time to connect.
I like the way you talk about them feeling safe, because we've all been in environments where we're almost backing out and you feel sort of captured. You know, it's like a lot of the sales training. Well, a lot of the therapy trainings, you go to some of the big events and it is a real hard sell. They actually keep you there way too long, so you get exhausted. They have the place freezing cold. Have any of you been to these events? And they're freezing, and that they actually tell you bring loads of jumpers because you're going to be cold. They keep you there. One I went to, it started at 8 a.m. and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd still not had a break, not even a coffee. They wear you down, and then they hit you with a lot of heavy sales techniques. And one I went to, they were talking to one of the delegates and saying to them, and they said, look, I can't afford it. And they actually said, get your phone out and start calling your current clients and asking them to give you money up front so that you can pay for a course that you need to take to help them. And they're actually get the person and hassling them to get on the phone, start begging their clients for money. That's how hard sell the spiritual self-help field is. And you're in them environments, and it's quite threatening in a way, isn't it? When you
Yes.
when they're pressured. I mean, there's one lady I know of, and people are actually investigating her at the moment. She has 30 grand off of people, and there's no get out. The next day you can't call up and cancel. They won't let you. They won't let you cancel. It's really, you don't get a copy of the contract, the whole thing. I think this field is one of the worst for not feeling safe, and I think almost feel like we need to rewrite the way it's done, because I love what you say there. You know, it's not about the big sell or that hard sell. People in hard sales industries have their figures on the wall, and they're all out to be the number one seller, or they're going to be reviewed every month at the sales meeting. But that's not the industry we're in. I've had clients that come to me, and I used to read for their mothers. Their mothers still come to me now that little girl's grown up. So I've involved with whole families over many decades, and I love that. So over time, and they tell other people, and then they might come and train with me, or they might not spend a lot. I've got one client, I think she's been coming to me for 40 years. I know more. I've never met her. Initially it was through the postal typed up readings. Now it's internet readings. We've never met face to face. I know everything about her. I know everything about her family, like no other person knows more than me. And that's what you're saying. You look into the person, you get to know them, and they grow with you. And
That's
in
correct.
the end, you've got this army of customers that will do the job for you, won't they? They'll go out and help people.
Absolutely. One happy, satisfied customer will generate at least another 10 sales, because they're more than likely to go away and talk about you to somebody else. And so for me, it's always important to maintain that relationship and start in a very honest and genuine way, because I sell the way I want to be sold to. And I think it's really important that I come across in a very authentic, genuine way. They feel safe, they feel valued, and I'm having a very honest and open conversation, but still relaying my message, still getting across my product, and giving them the opportunity to ask me questions and tell me about their problems. And it's a really authentic, heartfelt way, because I feel as though I've done a really good job, and given them something that they really need and they will benefit from, as opposed to just trying to hit them with a sale, and making sure the sale's done, the money's in, and goodbye. I don't work on that approach. I never have done. I find it very uncomfortable, because people work hard for their money. And if you're going to offer them something, even if it's a training package, make sure it helps them and make sure it's tailor-made for them. You've looked at their needs, you've looked at what problems they're having, and you've created a solution that will hopefully talk them through each of those stages that they're struggling with, and they come out the other side feeling more confident and better equipped to start, selling again. And even if you have obstacles, that's okay, because with every obstacle, even today, I get rejections, and I'm fine with that, because I think with every rejection and every obstacle you face, you learn something from it. And that learning just makes you more confident. The more you talk to people, the more comfortable you get, and the more at ease you feel yourself, and then your customer will feel at ease. And that's what it's about. It's about being able to overcome the fear of being rejected. That is the biggest fear we all have. We don't want to be rejected. And I can tell you, after 25 years, I still get rejected, and I'm fine with that, because I learned something. I look back at it and think, well, what could I have done better, and do it the next time? Or, if I have a good sale, I think, well, how I did well in that. What was it that I did so well in that secured me the sale? And it's all a learning process. We're constantly evolving, constantly learning. And if you understand that, and you understand you have something good to sell, and you feel confident in yourself, and you relax about it, you'll always get the sale. You'll always get to a point where you'll build rapport. If they don't buy something off you, they definitely recommend you to somebody else as well. And it's about, just knowing your process and not feeling fear, because fear stops us from basically moving forward. And you've just got to understand, the key point here is that if somebody has come to you, they've come to you because they need your help. So how best can you help them? By being yourself, being honest, and offering an authentic approach, being honest, and giving them the opportunity to learn and to understand and think, well, okay, this person will definitely help me, and I'm happy to go with this person. And that comes through communication. If you have a passion to help, you're more than likely to find a solution for your client.
That is really true. And I love what you're saying about rejection. I think we don't want to look bad. We don't, we're therapists. We're nice to people. We want to save the world, and we don't want to look bad to people. But I regularly get people say to me, "Oh, you're expensive. You're too expensive for me." I get that a lot, because I charge more or less double what everybody else charges. And what I always do is say, "You'll have somebody cheaper nearer to you." And if it's local to me, I give out, I'll say, "See so-and-so, they're good." Or, "Why don't you try and see so-and-so, that they don't charge as much as me." And people are amazed when you do that. They're expecting you to get uptight. But you go, no, there's other people out there. Or sometimes if people are struggling, they've got no money, I'll send them a free recording.
Yeah.
That really shocks them. It actually shocks them, because they're waiting for you to push them, and they're feeling a bit threatened. Those people are very liable to come back to me at a later date. They're very, or recommend me. So I really, really get what you're saying. I love that. I wanted to ask you about closing sales, because it's funny, it was some years ago, I gave a talk in London. I did it with Solar Events, and we did sign up a lot of people. And at the end, this lady come up to me and she said, you're really good on stage. You're a good talker. She said, "You're a bit weak on the sales at the end." And I come from a sales background, so I wasn't amused. But then she went on to say several things that made me think, okay, yeah. And it is that final bit, closing the sale, that most of us are weak on. And I've had people come and sell to me, and they keep talking about it. They never kind of do that bit, sign here. So how can therapists be better at closing sales?
Well, I think this comes back to starting the conversation. If you've built up that rapport, you've already established what they need.
Yeah.
They've told you that this is their problem, and you've offered them a solution. So you've already done the introduction. You've already told them about what you have to offer. They've told you what they're looking for. And so it's, where do we go from here? So my point always then is that, right, so, this is what we're offering. These are your needs. I think this solution over here, solution A, would work really well for you, because it covers problem A, covers problem B, and will definitely help with problem C. So you basically talk them into understanding that what you're offering them is a bespoke solution to their problem. And in that price, they're getting X, Y, and Z. So if you've offered them a solution for £50. Explain to them that this £50 covers A, B, C, D. So automatically they can then understand and relate to that cost price, what you're offering them. So if you've done that, if they've already had the introduction, they've told you their problem, you fixed it by saying, well, I think your best solution is to have this package over here, which I'm selling for £50, and in that £50, you will get A, B, C, D. Once you've done that, then the customer in his mind is able to understand and basically commit to, well, for that money, this is really worth it. It's about them understanding what is it that you're selling them for that amount, and always explain it that in this amount, you will get A, B, C, D. Always make it clear that for that amount, what have you sold them? And if you do that, then they can relate that worth, that money, to the amount, to the package you're selling, and automatically you've got the sale. And if they say, well, and then once you've said that you know, this is what you'll get for that money, and then and give them a minute to think, and then say, so do you think this works for you? Because I think this will really work for you. You're more than likely to get the sale, because you've explained what you're charging them for. It's really important to explain why are you charging the money, and if the amount that you've charged them, what are they going to get for that money? And once you've done that, give them a minute to think about it, and then say, so do you think this will work for you? And you're more than likely to get a yes or a no. And if it's a no, it's probably because they either can't afford it, or they were never there to buy it in the first place. There's always three choices. They're either going to buy it, or they won't, or they simply don't have the funds. So there's three outcomes to this.
Yeah,
so it's really important to explain, if you're charging them for something, what is it that they're going to get for that money, and make it very clear so they understand it. Because the minute a customer understands they're paying you for something and they know what they're getting, it's crystal clear, they're more than likely to say yes.
Yeah, I think that's really true as well. And obviously the people here would be very good at over delivering. They'd actually give more. I think it's really nice to, with my trainings, I always send people something afterwards. And you know, on the previous American training, one of the women said, this is amazing, the gift that keeps giving. You know, you're giving more after. So when you over deliver, that's when your reputation really grows. It's like when people say, how long is it going to be? I always say less than what it's going to be. So I'll say 45 minutes, and then it'll be an hour or hour and 10. So they go, they're happy. If it's 5 minutes short, people feel shortchanged, no matter how good you've been or the work you've done. So that over delivering spreads your reputation. Yeah,
it's always value for money. That's what we all want. We want value for money. I do a power hour, and although it's called a power hour, it's only 1 hour. I actually give for that power hour 90 minutes, because I want the customer to leave me feeling satisfied and confident. And although it's called a power hour, it's really never an hour, it's always 90 minutes. And I don't mind it going over, because I want them to leave feeling happy and confident, and being able to approach their sales in a really authentic and genuine way, but also in a very honest way as well, because that's what we're all looking for. I'm here to mentor people. I act as a mentor. It's not a hard sale. It's not a technical sale. It's simple techniques.
I was about to ask you about, Saniya does an amazing power hour, just longer than an hour. And I love this, because you've got somebody say they do hypnosis, and you can help them find their authentic message and what to say. So tell us about what you do in the power hour.
Okay, so in the power hour, if somebody contacts me, I will then send them an email with a list of questions, so that I can build up an understanding of where they're having problems, and I'll send them the email before we start the training. So when I receive their response back, I can then clearly gauge where they're struggling, and when I do the power hour training with them, we will cover all those aspects. So it's already, I've already had the information from them. I know where they're struggling, and then I will create a program or that training session will be focused around those gray areas so that they can go away after they finish with me and hopefully start to sell in a more confident and relaxed way and overcome those obstacles, those objections. And that's what my power hour is about, because I think full day training courses are quite draining. They don't necessarily cover your issues. They're a broad training package. They don't work for everybody. And I found through my own experience that when I mentor in these power hours, the client gets a lot more from me in that 90 minutes than they do paying £400 for a full day, because I only cover the areas that they need support on, and I will build them up so that if they've got 60% that they're really happy with and 40% is where they're struggling, I will bring that 40% into basically match their 60 so that they're 100%, so that they go away feeling complete. And I cover those areas specifically so that they feel that they've had something which is tailor-made to them. And that's why I love my power hour bespoke hours, because they're just really good. They're enough. We can't focus a whole day on learning something. After a couple of hours, we will switch off. And that's why I found that these are far better, because you're investing small amounts of money as and when you need, as opposed to a great big full day of where it may or may not be suitable, and there may be a lot of technical background to it as well, which is not what customers and most clients need, particularly small businesses. They want their needs met. They're not interested in the big general hard sales pitch, and that's where it's different.
Yeah, I totally get that. And we have all got individual needs and different weak points. And the other thing I think you'd be good at identifying, we often don't know what we don't know, if that makes sense. So we don't always know what the weak point is. We tend to do the bits we're good at and kind of avoid or not know about the other bits. So I think that individual sessions, I wouldn't go on a sales training. I've got coaches that I go to. And I'd rather sit with a coach and get the answers I need personally, rather than sit through hours and hours and hours of stuff that's not relevant. So I really, really get what you're saying. So guys, have any of you got any questions about sales for Saniya? Anybody got anything they want to ask? Yeah, Marita?
Yes, if you could give us an example of one of those questions, like exactly what you just said, we don't know what we don't know, but like just an example, what would be a question
to you?
Like to anyone, yeah.
So I think let's say if you came to me as a client, I'd like to get to know you first. I'd like to understand who you are as an individual, what you're selling, and then I would ask you to give me a sales pitch. Talk me through your sales pitch. Talk me through what you're selling to me. So I would pretend to be your client and you would be selling to me. And then once you've done that, then it would be very easy for me to understand where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and where I can help you. That's key for me. That's very important for me, because I already probably know what you're selling. If I've emailed you, you've sent me a list of problem areas. I've probably had a look at your Facebook page or your Instagram page. But what I really want to see is, how do you sell to me? What is it that you're selling? Because that will give me a really good idea where we're heading and where I can help you. Then it's bespoke, then it's tailor-made to you. It's not just something I'm telling you because that's what I tell the other 500 people. And that's important, because we're all different and we all have our different strengths and different weaknesses, but we also have different techniques. And I want to make sure that I give you a technique that works for you, is individual to you and unique to you.
Great question, Marita. And it might be an idea at some point to do a live session where somebody sells to you and you give your feedback. I think that would work very well in a workshop. So guys, what we want from this, we want your feedback, anything you want to, because we're Saniya's going to be putting on a 1-hour workshop on the 16th of March at 12. 1 hour, 12 o'clock UK time, English time, London time. And so let us know anything you want to add or any questions. Drop us an email. By the way, Saniya, I've never asked you, how much do you charge for your power hour?
Okay, so I normally charge £175 for a power hour, which is 90 minutes. But I will be running a promotion in March for your clients. So if they'd like to book that package just for the month of March, I will charge £95.
Wow. That's
But
really,
normally I charge £175.
yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing to have an hour of just somebody. This is, I go to see certain people, and I will come to you for sales, but when I go to people, to get that individual attention is everything for me. I've got people I go to that are amazing business people, and they will just go do that and that, because it's individual. It's really, I can't. In fact, I did go on one some years ago. It was a 2-day training, and I just got bored and disappeared. And I just crept out, and I was going to the loo and didn't come back. It just went on for days. It was just droning on, and I didn't realize they'd sent out a search party. But yeah, no, I think this is great. So thank you so much, Saniya.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been great. No hard sell, just, telling it like it is. And it's going to be great to get you on for an hour. Guys, we'd love your feedback. Any ideas you've got, drop us a message. I think that will be amazing. I'll be sending out the Zoom link, and I'm really looking forward to.
Excellent.
There's going to be a power hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Workshop.
And if everyone has their questions ready, we can use that time on the 16th of March. It won't be detailed, but it will be definitely a starting point and give everybody tips. And we'll work through everyone that comes online and take it from there. But thank you so much for having me.
Amazing.
It's been lovely to meet you all. And I wish you all the best. And I'm sure we'll meet again.
That was fabulous. Thank you. That was so good.
Thank you, Anne.
So good.
Take care.